Hey everyone and welcome to the Learning Ladder. Today I am doing a flip through of Grammar for the Well-Trained Mind. This is their middle/high school grammar curriculum. So the idea is that you'll use this curriculum throughout your high school years. There are 4 workbooks that you need to get through, but as you can see they are really quite chunky, and also the level of grammar in it is quite advanced for the second half of the book. So they do say that generally speaking it might take you longer to go through one of these books than a year. Now in terms of teaching, you get your core instructor text, and this is for years 1 through 4. So this one book you'll need for 4 years, which I thought was a great idea actually, and saves money saver, but you only need to buy the one thing, one guide for the whole time you'll be using this curriculum. And then they have 4 different colours of the workbook. So off the top of my head there's yellow, red, purple, and I think blue or green, I'm not sure, but there's 4 workbooks. Now you can use any workbook you would like. First, there's no order, so for example it's not you have to do yellow first, you have to do red first. You can do any colour of the workbook first, and then the idea is once you've finished the workbook you go on to the next colour, because the activities, although similar in terms of what you're learning, the examples are completely different, so you're getting a new experience every time you're using your workbook. Also, you need to purchase the answer key, and again that's really chunky as well. So you need the 3 things per year, but only this is a one-time purchase. So you'll need this for once, that's it, you're done, one and done, and then for every year you'll need to purchase your different colour workbook and your key. Or if it takes 2 years, then obviously when you're ready to complete it. And move on to your next one. Okay, so this is the table of contents for the teacher guide. Review is built into it, so it is a kind of a spiral method, which I really do appreciate. Now they do say that after lesson 20 it gets quite complicated. So some students may get to lesson 20 and then need to stop for the year and then revisit it, or some, if they've done quite a lot of grammar before, might be able to plough through. But that's kind of like the week 20, I should say, not lesson 20, week 20. That's kind of like the cut-off point, if you like. So it explains here the exercises increase in complexity and difficulty after week 20. A student who needs a full year to complete weeks 1 to 20 should return to the same material weeks 1 to 20 the following year using another student workbook, and only when the concepts in these lessons are mastered should you move on to weeks 21 and following. And it says students who begin the programme in 5th or 6th grade might then spend several years working through weeks 1 to 20 lessons in all 4 workbooks, and then move on to weeks 21 to 36 lessons during the high school years. Your goal is simply to complete the entire series of weeks 1 to 36 at least twice, and ideally all 4 times before the student graduates. So that's the plan. Once the weeks 1 to 36 sequence has been completed 4 times, the student has mastered all the grammar needed for good writing. Now there are extras you can purchase. You can purchase a grammar dictionary, which I did actually purchase. I don't think it's arrived yet. I need to double check that. And then there's also a diagramming dictionary. I haven't purchased that one yet. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll look at week 1, we'll look at week 20, and then we'll look at probably week 30 something random. Okay, so we start off at lesson 1. We're talking about concrete and abstract nouns. There are notes to the instructor. It is scripted. You don't obviously have to follow the script, but it is there if you'd like to go through that process, asking them questions and obviously them to give you the answer. Then note to instructor before the end of the lesson, and then they'll be advised to do lesson 1 in their workbook. And here is lesson 1 in their workbook, and it's only a short one. The lessons do get longer as you go through, but that's what lesson 1 is all about. Okay, so I think I said lesson 20, I meant week 20. So we'll skip to week 20. So the lesson is 77 and we're constructing sentences. So it says you're going to start this week's work by taking the grab bag of clauses and phrases in your workbook and putting them together to form sentences. And then we'll look at lesson 78. So that's all about complex sentences. We've got some diagramming. Lesson 79 is all about comma splice. And lesson 80, because it is a 4-day-a-week programme. There's quite a lot in that lesson. Okay, so let's look at the corresponding week 20 in the student text. Okay, so here's the student text for week 20. Doing some diagramming. Forming complex sentences. More diagramming. And they do use extracts of literature as well, and poems and things, which I like. As you can see, the lessons are definitely longer now. Lesson 80. Okay, so let's look at, no, I said we were going to do 30, didn't I? Well, we'll just look at week 26 for now. So that's more modifiers, correct adjectives in the appositive position, correct comma usage. So this is the the teacher text. We will look at a week 30 something in a second. Misplaced modifiers. And comparisons using more, fewer and less. Okay. And week 26. Student text. Or student workbook, I should say. So we've got passages to work with. And diagramming again. So week 36 is review. So we'll have a look at week 35. So we're talking about sentence style. This is the teacher guide or instructor text. I'm using little extracts, which I really like, of other stories and poems and things. Okay, and it's a student workbook for week 35. Doing some rewriting here. Okay, so now I think we'll have a look at a review week. Okay, so this is a review week in the student text. So this is reviewing weeks 16 to 18. So you would complete those pages and then obviously you'd work on to week 19. So that's everything for Grammar for the Well-Trained Mind. So I'm definitely considering this one for 7th and throughout high school. I wanted to get it in my hands, see it in my hands, and have a look and decide what I thought. But it does look a very rigorous grammar program. It does look quite advanced. So I completely understand the whole go up to week 20 and then repeat with a different colour workbook before you move on to the next part. Plan. It makes a lot of sense. I like the fact that the core text is just one book for 4 years, which I think is great. And obviously then you need to pick the workbook and the key up, but you can obviously use them for longer than a year, because if you're stopping at week 20 then you're returning back. Because I think sometimes with curriculum like that you might not get to the end because of the fact that you've gone into a different book and everything. So I like the fact that you can then return back to it and complete the book entirely. So I do think it looks a really interesting program, and I'm definitely considering it. But I'll let you know obviously in my curriculum video what I decide. If you've used it, let me know. I'd love to hear, and I'll see you in our next video. Take care. Bye for now.